Weirder, a little bit tighter, and a little bit murkier, especially in the NFC West. 30-23 loss, Arizona Cardinals sustained to the Los Angeles Rams. Brack, Alex Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked on Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yuck. I mean, I feel like Monday Night Football brought to you by Yuck today. Alex Clancy and Brack Locked on Cardinals. Follow him at Brack. Follow me at Clancy's Corner. Cardinals lose 30-23 in a very underwhelming fashion filled with mistakes and boneheaded penalties and questionable play calling. The Cardinals were the better team on the field for a third of the game, maybe. And the icing on the cake, James Conner gets hurt on the penultimate play of the game. You saw him on his back as the game ended, seemed to walk off the field under his own power. A lot to unpack here. This is our 10-minute reaction show. We'll hit our podcast and post it within the hour, so you'll get the full reaction from Bo and myself. Bo, what sticks out to you most as to what jettisoned the Cardinals' chances of winning this game tonight?
It was the two picks, two turnover on downs that they had in this contest. It was brutal. The one in the red zone, as far as the interception that was early in the game, the Arizona Cardinals could have taken a pretty commanding lead, and then they let the Rams right back into that contest, and then they kind of ride that momentum all the way to the end. And then you have a drop by DeAndre Hopkins, who also was not on the field for that final drive. He I don't know if he landed on the football weird on the previous drive, but he was not back in there. Something tells me it's a little bit more serious. The fact that he wasn't out there. It was Antoine Wesley instead. But it's missed opportunities. It's mistakes. It was a rough night for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not going to throw play calling on there. I'm not going to lump that in there. I disagree with that.
You do. So you don't think that they should have kicked a field goal on 4th and 2 for a 55-yarder when you're down 10 points with 3.5 minutes left?
No, I mean, that's the way that the Cardinals have been running their offense the entire season, and it's been successful. It was just it just didn't go their way this time. It was the smart move, and I don't agree with a lot of people that say, why don't you give it to Kyler Murray in that situation? James Conner was unstoppable in this game, and Kyler Murray got injured on a similar play against the Green Bay Packers. So to take him out of that play, it's fine. It was a brutal performance. You're going backwards on the final drive where Matt Prater and Zaven Collins makes the play of his career so far. Yeah, I'm not gonna beat Cliff up on that going for it. They've converted those 4th and shorts all season long. And it wasn't their night tonight.
Alex Clancy, Brack, Locked on Cardinals. Thank you for watching our post-game reaction. Yeah, turnovers in the name of the game. Yeah, I mean, the tipped interception that should have led to 7 points, that led to 0, and then Kyler Murray throwing the interception just in the second half, Leonard Floyd, that led to 7. It's 14-point swing. You can't give up 14 points one way or the other in the NFL and expect to win. It seemed a little bit discombobulated all over. The big plays were there. AJ Green, Christian Kirk, etc. They were there tonight. And James Conner looked great. James Conner's the safety valve. Again, we'll monitor what happened. The game just ended, and we're kind of reacting with word vomit right now, just trying to break down what we watched over the last 2.5 hours or so. Let's just hope DeAndre Hopkins and James Conner aren't injured more than this week. I mean, you're looking, they traveled to Detroit. I mean, you could see a rest game potentially, but we saw tonight that the Rams were out 2 of their top 3 offensive players, not including Matthew Stafford. A couple offensive linemen are down, and they beat up on the Cardinals pretty good. Cooper Kupp is proven to be the best receiver in the league this year, at least. He seems to be unstoppable. Matthew Stafford and him have a great bond relationship, and it's almost impossible to double him. Vance Joseph may have had one of his not so great game planning games of the season, but it just looked like all in all, the Cardinals weren't the better team on the field for the majority of the game. and the turnovers will kill you. Turnovers will absolutely kill you. 2 turnovers. They had the ball for longer. They only had a couple more penalty yards. They had more passing yards, more total yards, more first downs, and it comes down to 2 turnovers.
Yeah. Well, and then the 2 turnovers on down too. I mean, that's 4 pretty much turnovers there. That's 4 times where you don't come away with points, and you're on, outside of the was the other pick, was that wasn't on the other side of the field. So 3 of the 4 where you come out without points, you're on the other side of the field. 2 of them you're in the red zone. And I mean, the DeAndre Hopkins drop, I mean, if that's not, this entire game just encapsulated, like, it's just right there. It's like DeAndre Hopkins dropped the ball on 4th down that would have moved the change and put them in a pretty solid position to score. It was a brutal night. And like, if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan, and they talked about it on the Monday Night Football broadcast about the lack of respect that they were getting, this was your opportunity. And it was another, just like the missed opportunities of the game, this was a gigantic missed opportunity, one, to put down a team in the division, and now you lose that top NFC playoff spot, which is going to be tough to recapture, because the Packers, they're probably going to face the Ravens this week without Lamar Jackson, and their schedule the rest of the way is a lot easier. So it's just it was a big loss for the Arizona Cardinals, and hopefully it's just an L in the standings and not an L as far as a couple of your key offensive players in James Conner and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one bright side about this is the first bad loss they've had with Kyler Murray, like first bad loss where they were not the best team on the field. Green Bay was a toss-up. They were in position to win that game. That wasn't a bad loss. That wasn't an embarrassing loss. A lot of this game was pretty embarrassing for the Cardinals on the field, whether it be blunders by Kyler Murray. I disagree with you about the play calling. At times it was good, but I feel like just a total blunder when they needed it most. And I would have 100% kicked the field goal there, down 10 points. You trust Matt Prater that you bring in to kick something that's definitely within his range. He's already made 2 50+ field goals this game, so he was feeling it. I would have kicked it and dealt with it at that point, especially if you're not going to give the ball if you're not going to have the ball in Kyler Murray's hands. I'd much rather 100 times out of 100 kick a field goal there than run a halfback dive on 4th and 2 or 4th and a long one. 100%. So will
just getting away from what you've been successful doing all season long. That's what you'd be doing. It's just like, we're going to be this team. We're going to be this team. We're going to be this team.
Yeah, but 4th and 1 from the goal line is a lot different than 4th and 1 from the 38. Where if you don't get it, you're giving a team.
You just want to sit here and criticize when it's been something that they've been doing all season long, and nobody's had a problem until it's been on this larger scale. And I'm not going to hate on Cliff. Who knows what happens? Do they even get an onside kick afterwards? From that field goal, that's the biggest roll of the dice there anyway. So I'm not going to fault him. I mean, they have the personnel on the field to convert that. They just didn't get it done.
Alex Clancy, Bo Brock, Locked on Cardinals. That is going to wrap our live post-game reaction show. We're going to record the podcast right now. It'll be up within an hour, and you'll be able to check it out on YouTube tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time per usual. Thanks to everybody who hung out with us, and we'll talk